This is big. In the state of Arizona, it's forbidden to have more than 2 dildos in the house, regardless of how many people live there.
Oh, someone's gonna break the hell out of that young.
Oh, now we're gonna have to share it.
In Arkansas, Bill Clinton's home state, okay, in Arkansas, from the fella that said it depends on what you mean by but is, all right? Apparently, it's strictly prohibited to pronounce Arkansas incorrectly while you're in the state.
Really?
Arkansas.
Now you like this. This is right out of California. This is good. It's illegal to shoot at any kind of game from a moving vehicle unless you're shooting at a whale. That's completely fine. You can shoot at a whale while driving.
So that's hard to do from the Jeep.
What?
It's hard to do from the back of a pickup.
You gotta love it, right? And I'll throw out one unsolved mystery, okay? The Voynich manuscript. It's a book that was created in the early 1400s, almost completely composed of a language never before seen and never deciphered since. Comes with an array of colorful drawings of strange plant-like creatures and celestial diagrams, but the contents remain elusive, with some theorizing it might be a book on medieval medicine. Others, of course, see it as alien origins. You can find some of the pages on the net if you want. It's Voynich manuscript, V-O-Y-N-I-C-H. I can see Catboy's writing it down right now. Right, Catboy?
I already read it.
You already read it? Oh, my God. That's too much. Yeah, that's great.
About it, anyway.
Yeah. That stuff is great, right? All right, let's bring up, why not? Why not? You ready to get up?
Why
Oh,
not?
sure. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Why
Oh,
not?
I gotta sit down.
Sit down.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit down. I've been working with HUDs for the past week with that dance company. They're driving me crazy. And I thought last night, I'm going to just get offline and go to bed and have coffee and do it in the morning. And you know, I did it. I cannot get stressed out by these HUDs. They drive me crazy. Anyway, I did figure it out. I'm getting better, but I'm not going to stand up for you. The Scotsman owned a hen. Every morning he'd look in his garden and pick one of the eggs for breakfast. Well, one day he looked in the garden. He saw the hen laid an egg in the Englishman's garden. He was about to go over next door, but he saw the Englishman pick up that egg. So he ran over. He said, "Hey, that's my egg. I own the hen." And the Englishman disagreed. He said it was laid on his property and he's keeping it. So they argued. And finally the Scotsman goes, "In my family, we normally solve disputes. I kick you in the testicles and time how long it takes you to get back up. And then you can kick me in the testicles and time how long it takes for me to get up. Whoever gets up quicker gets the egg." So the Englishman agreed, and the Scotsman put on the heaviest pair of boots that he could find, took a few steps back, ran toward the Englishman, kicked him as hard as he could in the testicles. The Englishman fell to the floor, clutching on his groin, howling in agony for 30 minutes. Eventually, the Englishman stood up and he goes, "Now it's my turn to kick you." And the Scotsman smiled and he goes, "You can have the damn egg."
We jambo.
This priest in a small village was really fond of his flock of 10 hens and a cockerel. And he kept them in a hen house behind the parish, but one Saturday night, his cockerel was missing. Well, the priest, suspecting foul play, pun intended, he decided to say something about it at church the next morning. So at Mass, he asked the congregation, "Has anyone got a cock?" And all the men stood up. "Oh, no, he says. He's all flustered. "That's not what I meant. Has anybody seen a cock?" And all the women stood up. No, that's not what I meant either. "Has anyone seen a cock that doesn't belong to them?" And half the women stood up. no, he said now, thoroughly embarrassed. Perhaps I should rephrase the question. Has anybody here seen my cock? And all the choir boys stood up.
Oh, that was bad.
I know. A nun and a preacher were riding camels in a desert, and suddenly both camels fell over dead. The preacher turned to the nun, and he's like, look, it's evident we're going to die. I got one request. I have never seen a female body naked. Will you show me yours? And she goes, certainly, but I want to see you naked as well. So as they stood there in the hot desert, buck naked, the nun pointed to his Johnson and asked the preacher, what does that do? And the preacher, he didn't know what to say, so he goes, well, it gives life. Well, what are you waiting for? She screamed. Put that in the camel so we can get the hell out of here. Two nuns are driving down the road, and an evil vampire jumps out in front of the car and says, I'm going to drink your blood. Terrified, the nun driving says to the nun passenger, quick, get out and show me your cross. So the nun in the passenger seat, she jumps out and she goes, get the hell out of the road, you fucking vampire. She was really cross. A new priest at his first mass was so nervous he could hardly speak. After mass, he asked the Monsignor how he had done. And the Monsignor replied, well, when I'm worried about getting nervous, I put a glass of vodka next to the water glass on the pulpit. If I start to get nervous, I take a sip. So, next Sunday, he took the advice. At the beginning, he got nervous. He took a drink. He started talking up a storm. And when he returned to the office, he had a note on his door. 1, sip the vodka, don't gulp. 2, there are 10 commandments, not 12. 3, there are 12 disciples, not 10. 4, Jesus was consecrated, not constipated. 5, Jacob wagered his donkey. He did not bet his ass. 6, we do not refer to Jesus Christ as the late J.C.
Late JC.
The Father, Son, and Holy Ghost are not referred to as Daddy Jr. and the Spook. 8, David slew Goliath. He did not kick the shit out of him. 9, when David was hit by a rock and was knocked off his donkey, don't say he was stoned off his ass. We do not refer to the cross as the big T. When Jesus broke the bread at the Last Supper, he said, take this and eat it, for it is my body. He didn't say, eat me. And the Virgin Mary is not called Mary with the cherry. 13, the recommended grace before a meal is not rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the grub, yay God. And last but not least, next Sunday there will be a taffy pulling contest at St. Peter's, not a Peter pulling contest at St. Taffy's.
That was great. That was fucking
This
fantastic.
janitor's cleaning a church. Suddenly the priest runs out of the confession booth. He bumps into the janitor and he tells him to cover for him because he got to go to the bathroom. Well, surprised, the janitor tells the priest he doesn't know anything about confessions. And the priest just gives him a sheet of paper and tells him to find the sin on the list. It tells you how many Hail Marys to give. So the janitor goes in, and then a lady goes for her confession. She says, I'm cheating on my husband, and the janitor thinks. He says, it's adultery, and he looks it up, and he goes, that's 2 Hail Marys. And the lady goes, well, that's not all. I also slept with him. So the janitor thinks again. He says, well, it's adultery, and that'll be 2 more Hail Marys. And then she says, well, I also gave him a blowjob. And the janitor looks on the paper, and he can't find the word blowjob. So he gets nervous, and he runs out of the booth looking for some help. Finally, he reaches a little altar boy, and he says, "What's the priest usually give for a blowjob?" And the little boy says, "2 candies." Oh, that was terrible. We got a bunch of horrible church jokes. A drunken man staggers into a Catholic church and sits down in a confession box, but he doesn't say anything. The priest is bewildered. He starts trying to get his attention, coughing. The man still says nothing. The priest knocks on the wall 3 times.
Sending out messages, man. I think we all got them already.
I'm not sending them out. That was sent out last week. You're just getting it now.
Yeah, that's hero thing.
The stupid hippo thing. I haven't sent anything out for an hour, okay?
The priest then knocks on the wall 3 times in a final attempt to get this man to speak. And finally the drunk goes, "There's no use knocking, mate. There's no paper in this one either." You know what's the best thing about shagging 28-year-olds?
What?
There's 20 of them. George, Johnny, and Bert driving along in their pickup, and they see a sheep caught in a fence with its hind legs up in the air. Bert goes, "Man, I wish that was Sharon Stone." George goes, "I wished it was Demi Moore." Little Johnny goes, "I wish it was dark."
Oh.
Ew, that was horrible. And the local yokel got married, and his honeymoon was the first time he'd been off the farm, so he'd saved like for 20 years for this to get this classy hotel. He checked in, and he goes, "Me and my new wife would like to hire your best room for a week." "Well, certainly, sir. Would you like the bridal?" The yokel looked a bit uncertain. He goes, "No, I reckon not. I'll just hang on to her ears till she gets the hang of it." Am I going too long here?
No, go ahead. Go on.
Okay. All right. Give me an I am if I get too long.
I'll give you a call. I got you.
There's 3 moms, a brunette, a redheaded, a blonde, and they're all talking one day. And the brunette says, "Oh my gosh, y'all, I went through my daughter's purse the other day to get some gum, and I found an ounce of weed. I can't believe she smokes weed." And they comfort her, and the redhead goes, "Yeah, well, I found a fake ID in my daughter's purse. I can't believe she has one." So they all comfort her. And then the blonde says, "Well, that's nothing. I found a condom in my daughter's purse. I just can't believe she's got a penis."
Wow. Just wow.
A man comes home to his wife after golfing, and the wife says, "Honey, how come you never play with Bob anymore?" And the man's like, "Would you want to play with a man who cheats all the time, who lost his balls and then puts one out of his pocket saying he found it? A man who really got a 7 but marks down a 5? A man who takes 3-foot gimmies?" And the wife goes, "Well, no, I don't think I would." And the man goes, "Neither would Bob." Fred got home from a Sunday round of golf later than normal. "I'm real tired." "Bad day at the course?" his wife asked. Well, everything was going fine, and then Harry had a heart attack, and he died on the 10th tee. "Oh, my God. That's awful." "Shit, you're not kidding. For the whole back 9, it was hit the ball, drag Harry, hit the ball, drag Harry."
Oh, that's terrible.
One day a man's out playing golf, and he sliced his shot off in a patch of buttercups. He was disgusted with himself, and he went looking for the ball, but when he found it and he's ready to hit it back in the fairway, he hears, "Please don't hurt my buttercups." Well, he's shocked, and he's looking for the source of the voice, but he can't. Well, he prepared to hit it again, and he heard, "Please don't hurt my buttercups." Well, he looked to find the source, and he sees a leprechaun standing by him. The little man says, "Please, sir, if you'll kindly pick up your ball and throw it up on the fairway instead of hitting it with your club, I'll reward you with a year's supply of butter for free." And the man thought about it for a minute, and he said, "That's really nice, but I just have one question for you. Where the hell were you last week when I hit my ball in the Pussy Willows?" 2 priests were taking a piss in the urinals one day, and the one priest looked down and he sees a nicotine patch on the other guy's dick. He says, "I'm not really a rocket scientist or anything, but isn't that supposed to be on your arm?" And the other priest goes, Nah, it's working fine. I'm down to 2 butts a day. God.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, that was terrible. Oh. A man on a business trip to Las Vegas heard about how good the Las Vegas prostitutes were, so on his first night he decided he'd go out and try his luck. He walked outside his hotel and looked up and down the street, and he saw this really attractive girl on the corner, approached her and asked if she was working, and sure enough, she said, "Meet me in room 804 across the street." He was in luck. She was a knockout. They got to the room. He sat down anxiously on the edge of the bed. She asked him what he wanted. He thought, and he goes, "How much for a hand job?" She said, $300. His eyes popped. He says, $300? She goes, "Walk over to that window and open those curtains." And he did. "You see that motel?" she says. "I own it, and I didn't inherit it. I am that good." He's like, "Well, hell, go right ahead, honey." So she gave him the best hand job he ever had. After a little rest, he thought, wow, that was good. How much for a blow job? $600. Jesus Christ, he said. She took him over to the back window. "You see that 15-story hotel? I own it, and I didn't inherit it. I am that good." And he said, "Well, let's get to work then, sweetie." And he got the best blow job he'd ever had, too. After a little rebuilding time, he thought, wow, that was good. How much for sex? And she chuckled. She goes, "Honey, I'd own this whole damn town if I only had a pussy." Oh, that's bad.
Oh.
A married couple went to the hospital to have their baby delivered. When they arrived, the doctor said he had invented this new machine. It would transfer some of the mother's pain to the baby's father. He asked if they wanted to try it, and they were both in favor, so the doctor set the pain transfer to 10% for starters. He said 10% was probably more than the father ever experienced before. But the labor, as it progressed, the husband felt fine, so he said, "Go ahead, kick it up a notch." Well, the doctor adjusted the machine to 20%, and the husband was still fine, so he says, "Kick it up again." They go to 50%. The husband still felt great. Since the pain transfer was obviously helping out the wife considerably, the husband encouraged the doctor to transfer all the pain to him. Well, the wife delivered a healthy baby boy with virtually no pain. She and her husband were ecstatic. When they got home, the mailman was dead on the porch.
Oh.
There's a man who had a headache for 20 years. He was at the point where he wanted to end his life, but he decided to go to a specialist first. No doctor could solve his problem until finally one said, "You have this very rare problem. Your testicles are pressed up against your spine and it's causing your headache. The only way to remedy it is to remove your testicles." The man hesitantly agrees and he gets them removed. On his way home, he walks past a tailor shop with a sign that says, "All suits half price." Well, he's in need of a new suit, so he walks in and this guy says, "Hey, sir, I see you want a suit. I would say you're a 34 sleeve, 24 pant." "Wow, how'd you know that?" the man said. "Well, I've been in business for 40 years. Would you like shoes to go with that?" "Well, sure. Well, I think you're a size 10 wide." "Man, you're freaking me out," he says. "That's a really great talent you got there." "Thanks," said the shopkeeper. "Now, how about some undergarments?" "Well, okay, see if you can guess my size," the man says. "Well, that's easy. It's a 36. It's 34, said the man. And the shopkeeper said, "Impossible. A size 34 would squish your testicles against your spine and you get a headache." Do we still have another person to come up after me?
We have maybe two more people.
Okay. Well, I think I
Go
should
3
save
more
them some
minutes maximum. All right, 2 to 3 minutes. Okay.
Okay, I'll do one more. A woman goes into a tattoo parlor and she tells the tattoo artist she wants a tattoo of a turkey on her right thigh just below her bikini line. And she wants them to put "Happy Thanksgiving" under it. So the guy does it. It comes out looking great. And she says, "Now, I want a Santa tattoo with "Merry Christmas" on my left thigh." So the guy does it. And it comes out looking great, too. And as she's getting dressed to leave, the tattoo artist is like, "If you don't mind, can you tell me why you have me put these unusual tattoos on your thighs?" And she says, "Well, I am sick and tired of my husband complaining all the time that there's nothing good to eat between Thanksgiving and Christmas." Thank you very much.
That's great. Bravo. Let's give it up.
Yeah, that's
Let's
great.
give it up. All right.